What is up, guys? Welcome to another episode of DR2 Classroom. Sorry it's been so long. Today we want to talk about trap accounts and how to kind of set up a solo trap, right? So, I'm not too experienced in this, so I asked a guy who has trapped multiple 1 billion might players, and I'm going to compile the best advice he's given to me. So, trapping, first thing you want to know is troops. Troops. Obviously, you're going to need a lot of them, so let's start off with that. T1s, these little guys right here. You want 2 million of each to start off. 2 million of each. After 2 million of each, you can start making more of one than the other, but most importantly, you're going to want 2 million each. That way, no matter what kind of formation they're coming at you, whether it be range heavy, cav heavy, infantry heavy, you're going to have enough. So that's really big importance right there. Like I said, after you can start building lopsided amounts like 6 million archers or 6 million cav. But that depends on you. So, that's the first thing. Next, in total, you want to have 300k T3. Now, does this have to be 100k each? No. But I think spread out is the best way to go. But the T3 are there to keep the morale up while you're defending. So, in total, all you want is 300k total T3. This is because you want your T1s to go to the infirmaries. And T1s, if you have the resources, you can insta-heal them back up. So that's the best part about T1s. Keep in mind, this is a solo trap. You're not going to be taking a lot of rallies, but you will be able to take hits from people who are, with 4.2 million troops, you should be able to take hits from people who are about 200 mil and lower. But that's not our end stage, of course. So, there's that. Let's talk about some of the things he said about research. In research, you want to have the maxed out military tab as far as you can go. Obviously, some of us, once you hit T4, you've probably too much research, but ideally, you want to have like 9 out of 10 on everything. So that is that for the research. You also want to get your quick swap for your gear. You want to kind of play possum when you're a trap account. You want to be sitting in research gear, monster hunt gear, and then as soon as someone tries to attack you, you want to swap over to your attack gear. Now, speaking of attack gear, this right here is the best quote-unquote free-to-play. None of them cost ultra rare. You can see a lot of these items you can build with just the resources you get from gathering tiles. Like you get the mud, the gold, and the vines and stuff. You can build a lot of this. So this is the best free-to-play gear for combat. No ifs, ands, or buts. 2 or 3 of these items, like you see the helmet, the chest piece, and the boots, those do require not the chest piece, but the helmet and the boots for sure do require monster material. Now that being said, is those do not require any ultra rares. You can get them from just opening up chests periodically, or you can end up hitting monsters, and you'll most likely get most of these uncommon items. You won't have to spend any money on building the set. Now, that being said, this is the best free-to-play gear. Eventually, when you're going down the road and you're killing more monsters, you're gonna get better gear. So, like this. So, say you finally have enough to get like a blue Frostwing sword or your green chestplate. Now, these two gear items are superior to the free-to-play items for sure, but you'll get those drops over time. You just want to take whatever gear gives you the best stats at the time. So you don't want to trade out like a gray Frostwing sword for, you know, your gold Fiery Tomahawk. It just won't work. The stats will be way less, and it just won't be worth it. On a side note, jewels. You always want to have your jewels in. It's very, very, very important. That way you can boost up your stats pretty much for free. I recommend slotting when you have enough gems to take them out, or if you have a gold jewel. Gold jewels you can place in any of your gear. It'll all work. So that's very good. Ideally, you want to have, with your talents and gear on, you want to have 250% attack stats. So, say we go back to our gear set 1. These each, you have your range attack is 118.5, your infantry is 106. That plus your talents should give you well over 250%, but it's something you're going to have to build towards with just the gear and the jewels. You're going to need them together. You can see for the gear too, we have higher stats here, but that's because we're upgrading some items. So, just check out what stats you have on your items and go with whatever ones give you things like Army max HP is really important, and so are all these attack stats. Don't really worry about siege attack. Siege is kind of useless in all aspects of the game, if you ask me. So that is very important. Another thing, ideally, if you want to start trapping billion might players, right? We're talking about big dogs, guys that will bully your entire guild. You want between 8 and 10 million troops in all. So that means you have your 300k T3, and then mix that in with somewhere between 8 and 10 million T1 troops. Then you'll be set to start taking solo attacks from billion might players. Now, this doesn't mean you can take a rally necessarily, but there are cases where you will just outmatch them. You're going to want to have your battle hall maxed out so you can get the max amount of reigns. With a million T3 sitting in your base from your guildmates and 8 million to 10 million of your own troops, that will make you almost unstoppable from solo attacks. And they'll never see it coming because you have your quick swap. You'll put on your research gear, quick swap into your war gear, and boom, you've capped their leader. You're never going to want to Fury. That's quite obvious. If you Fury, then they have a chance to rally you. If they have a chance to rally you and they fill, that could completely destroy your trap, and you could take months upon months rebuilding. So you don't want that. Another thing is you're going to want to get all 3 phalanxes. You're going to want to get your infantry phalanx, your range phalanx, and your cavalry phalanx. Most of the time, you're going to want to sit in infantry phalanx. Unless they are far enough that you can see what they're sending to counter it, infantry phalanx usually will do the trick. What else can we tell? For manners and for your infirmaries, until you have enough troops that you feel comfortable, I don't recommend building all infirmaries. That really slows down your training of your troops, because manners give you training speed. So kind of keep a normal setup for your manners and infirmaries until you hit that sweet spot where you think or you can start taking those solo hits from these bigger players. one last thing I want to go over is the talents. Let's see if we can make these talents a little bit bigger. Ooh. Ooh, technical difficulties. Alright, so just a quick rundown of what you want. I'm going to go through down this whole entire list. So squad offense maxed, cavalry offense 3 points, range offense 3 points, infantry offense 3 points. You want to max out your squad defense. A lot of people think that defense is not that great, but when you're doing a trap account, squad defense and squad health are going to be your best friend. So then we have 5 points into ranged offense, 5 points into infantry offense, 5 points into cavalry offense, another 5 points into the infantry offense. So you can see you're going to want to pick all these things that are giving you offensive boosts. Any extra points that you have left over, you want to put them into these offense trees. And for sure, you're going to want to max out your squad defense 2 and your squad health 2. That about covers for the talents. Remember, any extra points, put them into your offense if you're trying to trap people. It's not efficient to stay in this when you are, just kind of chilling and trying to build troops. You're going to want to pick up the training speeds and stuff. But when you're trying to take that solo hit, you're going to want these kind of things. I think that about wraps it up. If you have any more questions, feel free to comment or hit me up in the WeGamers chat. Alright guys, thank you so much for listening and have a great day. Peace.